So have you? I've
Right,
not
I'm
received
recording now. Did I do wrong? Shall I pause it?
Yeah, just pause for a minute.
Zoom recording.
1 second.
Okay, go for it, Andy.
So I'm just waiting. It's just loading up now. Like so.
Well, I'm recording right now, so I'll just.
Yeah, you can record. I'm just about to go. You're going to get a little bit before
Okay.
mine goes live onto
Okay.
YouTube. So now we're probably live. We're
Right, hopefully.
probably live now on YouTube now.
Yeah, it says live.
It says live now. Yeah. Right, just I've got to wait for the screen to come up there.
So you go ahead and introduce.
So right then. So sweet. I'm on mute already. So right then. So the update basically. I've just had a very brief, but we're not bothered because we're not keeping nothing behind the scenes. We're going to let you know exactly everything that we've got. I was just going to have a brief chat, but basically, she's got some more information on the Wilfred 1 case, or should I say the Anke Hill-Cut, the case, because of the case of the child, the missing child, or should I say the child that's been classed as being kidnapped at knife point by the newspapers. So we're gonna explain a bit more about that, and also we're just gonna have a general chitter chat, I say, for the people. So it's gonna be an interesting one. So for the people, hi Anne-Marie, yeah. If you can share it out, because I haven't actually shared it out yet on my Facebook, so I'll do that too. So while I do that, I'll let actually, because you're better at introducing it anyway, you speak far better. So I'll let you introduce it.
Okay.
What we're going to be talking about.
All right. So for those that are wondering, I lost my main YouTube channel with 10+ years work and 500 videos, and it was a malicious copyright takedown by my previous platform for broadcasting, which was CCN. But 9 of the 10, no, they put in 9 copyright strikes. So 8 of the 9 videos were unlisted. So I suspect YouTube cooperated in the takedown. And it might be because I was covering the Wilfred 1 case. But, you know, like, what can we do? YouTube have said my channel is disabled. They haven't said it's terminated. So whether it will come back up in 3 months or not, I don't know. But I've got a backup channel, tiny, and Andy is much more seasoned than me in just, okay, channel gone, here's a new one, Facebook gone, here's a new one. And it's like, we just have to be adaptable to get the truth out. We really do.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
That's what you mean. That's what you can do. I mean, it's the numbers games. I mean, when I was first going, I mean, on my Facebook, I had a group with over 5,000 on. Now that was when I first started to expose. That was basically just before or around the same time as the Hampstead children case came out. Because before that, I was exposing about the paedophilia within the government and whatever. But once I started on the Hampstead children case, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I lost everything. I lost my groups. I lost so many things. Yeah. And then also with Andrew Griffiths, the Burton-on-Trent MP, when I exposed him with Gordon Bowden and on his connection to 7887 790 Fincher Road, I lost again. I lost everything. I've lost so many times, but you get thick skin.
Eventually you adapt and you say, all right, that's gone. That was then, this is now. Yeah. So my picture's a bit weird, but it doesn't matter. You still have a video up where the German side, okay, right, let me introduce. So Wilfred 1 is apparently probably the world's foremost expert on satanic ritual abuse, 27 years history. And everything he says lines up with Hampstead and lines up with my experience and my research. The only upsetting thing is that I did not know that he has an office in the House of Commons, or had, that he is considered and funded as a parliamentary lobbyist, and he is listed as an expert fundraiser. So I'm not judging, but at the same time, I'm not doing rah-rah Andy and I are trying to present what we know without holding back, and let's see the truth come out of this. Am I right in that, Andy?
Absolutely, yeah. Because we're not biased. We just want full transparency.
Full transparency.
Everything, yeah, full transparency. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
For people to make their own mind up. I mean, there's questions on all sides. Always is. Always will be.
Yeah.
At the point, I mean, it's the same as like, but I'm sure, you know, there's. I mean, it's like me. I mean, when someone's going to present some evidence, I mean, I can imagine all the stuff that was brought out about myself. Like, you know, it's for people to work out. You know, so we can present them. We're not presenting it in a negative way. We're just presenting facts. So just putting facts on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're just not rah-rah, but we are, and I have to say, in all honesty, with Wilfred Wong, and the hundreds of videos online with him, including at an SRA conference in New York in October, everything he says lines up with everything I know from experience and from research and from other survivors' testimony. Everything he says lines up with what I know. The only thing, you know, and I'm going to get off this and just share what the German side of the family has sent to me, but the only questions I have and requests is that in 27 years of activism, if there are any SRA survivors who were rescued by Wilfred Wong and his teams, please get in touch. Please. Yeah. That's not an unreasonable request, is it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, because it's been said that he's been on cases before and he's done rescues. And
yeah, Jeanette Archer said that.
Yeah, just yeah. So basically, what we're saying, because let's cut it to the chase, because you're saying like, you know, you're more open-minded, and you said that I seem to be on the. No, I said, listen, I don't trust anybody. Full stop. I only trust the facts. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But the point is, I mean, like you're saying, at the end of the day, this case, regardless, seems that Wilfred Wong is definitely the good guy.
Yeah, it looks
fully pulling out to me that this is a genuine case. This is a fully genuine case with what the information that we'll be giving out as well. And like I said, is that I think that, you know, because of the position that Wilfred Wong's in and because of the connections he's got, I think that somewhere along that lines that's how this has gone tits up, because information has been shared by him in good faith and in trust, I believe. And those people that he was trusting, not necessarily everybody else trusts.
Yeah, not necessarily trustworthy. Yeah. And I have to say, as a journalist, semi-retired, but like I have a degree in literature, I have a postgrad degree in journalism under Maurice Sweeney of the Irish Times. And I have to say, I was the first person, when I saw the mainstream media reporting that a child had been abducted at knife point against his will by 6 people, including one armed with a knife. As a journalist, I said on Facebook, it's date stamped. No, that doesn't sound right. That sounds like an MSM spin. You know, that sounds like a foiled rescue. So I am still...
Did you date stamp that before me? Because I'd put that one out as well. I did a YouTube video as soon as I saw, because I saw that Brian Gerrish had put a piece out about it. Somebody had shared that, and then I looked into it, and then I went straight onto YouTube. So I don't know.
People are saying Sean Atwood. People are saying Sean Atwood was the first person to say it was a foiled rescue, but it doesn't matter. But I said it before Sean Atwood. And you may have said it before me, but the truth is, anybody with critical thinking, reading the mainstream media, you don't report 6 people, including one armed with a knife, abducted a child against their will, and they were arrested by armed police. You don't say that when one of the 6 is the mother, another of the 6 is the auntie, and the others are counsellors, ex-barristers, lobbyists, whatever. So all I can say is the mainstream media narrative seemed like it was orchestrated.
And in fact, I think what I actually said was, if you don't believe that the newspapers get told what to say, then only look back to 2001 when the Twin Towers went down. That now number 7 went down, but they reported the stupid things like an idiots because they were scripted to say it before, and they reported it 25 minutes before it fell
So the
down.
BBC reporter is saying number 7 towers just collapsed, and it was 7 minutes before it actually collapsed.
25 minutes, 24.
Right.
Well,
So she's reading out scripts. So that was my point.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, there's more evidence to indicate that this was, you know, a genuine case, which there are so many thousands of a mother reporting disclosures by a child, going to the police, going to the social services, and then the social services flipping it and saying the mother's crazy and the daddy can have the child back. And I don't mean to be sexist. It can be the other way around, but whichever is the parent saying, my child has just disclosed certain elements of social services, TUSLA, whatever they're called, CAFCAS, they're infiltrated.
Yeah.
They're infiltrated.
Well, the opposition always was, remember the opposition, what they always said was, you know, the best way to control the opposition is to run it.
Lead it. Is lead it.
Is lead it, yeah.
So there's one, I'll get to the email now, but there's one scenario in my head, which is Wilfred Wong could be a good guy. I love what he says. I don't know him. I've never personally interacted with him, and I've been blowing the whistle for a decade and more. But so one scenario is that he got set up. So he got pulled into an apparent rescue organization, and then he got set up to be arrested, and the rest is history. And the other possibility, there's 3. The other possibility is that he was part of controlled opposition, and I'm struggling to believe that. I might be wrong, and that's why Andy and I are trying to present, here's what we know, and let the truth come forward. And the final possibility, and I have to say this, right? Because even though I've spent 2 years speaking out about John Wedger and the inconsistencies and the Bill Maloney associations and the
Ian
Puddick. Oh, absolutely. I've just blocked him on Twitter, right? And the multiple connections. But there's a tiny part of me that says the guy, you know, maybe he's trying to go straight. Maybe he's trying to be genuine. Maybe in his clumsy, narcissistic way, maybe he is really trying to help. That is a possibility. Do you agree?
Who?
John Wedger. No, John Wedger.
Well, I mean, again, it's the same as everything else. We don't know, do we? I mean, where is he? Where is he? When's he going to speak up? That's
the biggest thing I have against him.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he should be shouting it out now because he's got so many followers. Yeah. You know, you'd think he'd be doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, because it's not just let's not just focus on John Wedger here.
No, but Wilfred Wong is working with John Wedger.
Yeah.
But Archer is working with John Wedger. Yeah. He is a big part of this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's gonna know something. He's got to know something. It's got to know something, hasn't it, at the end of the day? And do you really think that Wilfred Wong kept this rescue mission away from it?
No. No, John was fully aware.
Yeah.
Well, I say fully aware. John Wedger is silent. And John, if you call yourself a Christian and you say your conversion is real and genuine, the Bible says you should testify in season and out. So whether you're tired or burnt out or persecuted, if you're called to give a testimony, you should do that, right? But Jeanette Archer what was I going to say? It's hard not to get. Anyway, I've lost that, but that's just a shout out to John. There is no privilege that allows you to stay silent while somebody working with your team, one's been allegedly murdered in prison by plastic bag, and the other is somebody you've featured and you've worked with and you've cooperated with. And Jeanette Archer, oh, that's what I was going to say. They may not be fully au fait because Jeanette Archer did a live stream on Facebook and she said one of the 6 in prison was the mother's sister. And that's not true. That's not true. It was the mother's sister-in-law. And that has come out through the German contact that was emailing you and emailing me and still is.
So, yeah.
Right, so let me jump in and read the latest email. I've lost my channel. I've got a new channel, but can I screen share?
You can. You want me to just let you do it?
Oh, it says.
Yeah, I'll do it now. There you
Okay.
go. You can screen share now. Should be able to.
And hope I don't dox anybody because I'm so pants at this stuff. I really am. I'm getting such trouble. Right, so let's go. I'm just going to minimize all this. Go away. Right, documents. I'm just going to. What I've done, because the German contact, and do you know what? The German contact is a man. Do you know the German person that's been emailing us?
Yeah.
The name was like generic, but it's a man and it's his mother who's the child's godmother.
Right.
So let me just find this. So what I do to protect his email address is Anke German email. Here we go. Email 45. Here it is. So I've translated. Google Translate's not as good as me. Ha ha. But it's really not. But anyway, I've translated it between the two of us. So I'll just read this out for people. Hello, Angela. And the main thing for me in this is that Anke has contacted her father from prison. He sent her money to be able to contact people and do what she can. And as you'll hear in this email, he says, please go public. So, hello, Angela. We've now received the information that Anke is fine. Well, fine as she can be in prison. She got in touch with her father. He sent money to her prison account. She will contact us as soon as possible. Then I can find out something's better. This is still a bit clumsy translation, but it's all right. Anke also has a brother who is mentally ill, but not quite fit. Right. Well, that's none of our business. She has a good relationship with her cousin. He's not in favor of making the matter public or online. Her father, on the other hand, thinks that's good and supports it. So that's why I contacted you and said, let's just go public. Yeah. So then I had asked them for a timeline. So in 2003, Anke emigrated to England, to Swindon. In 2006, she went to East Sussex. I don't know what Ray is, but that's probably a mistranslation. In 2008, she moved to Hambledon. And in 2009, she moved to Plymouth. In 2010, on to Devon Dartmoor. Les wanted to start working on an oil rig here, but he didn't do it. In 2011, St. Ives in Cornwall, St. Ives. 2011 also split from Les, and in late 2012 she moved to North Wales. So this is quite a while ago. We hope we can track down Les. He mustn't get the boy. So that's the latest email I have, and I want to share some other stuff as well. Actually, well, no, I don't know. Maybe that's enough for now. What do you think?
So 2012 she moved to Wales.
I'll read it to you again.
Yeah,
because this is why a timeline's already good. She came to England 2003, 2006 she went to East Sussex, 2008 to Hambledon. Now this woman is a vet. 2009 to Plymouth, 2010 to Dartmoor, where Les wanted to start working on an oil rig. They're just curious things that come up. He's also very much into ocean stuff, you know. And what I wanted to say to you, shall I share? I have photos of the mother, photos of the father. You sent background, but maybe this is enough for now.
Well, the
So
father's
2011, she went to St Ives in Cornwall, split from Les in late 2012, moved to North Wales. And that's where
right. So,
first,
yeah, but did she? I mean, if they're saying that she moved to North Wales, I mean that doesn't really quite. That might be lost in translation. But if she moved to Wales in 2012, that would have been at the time of the birth, because the boy's 8 years old.
only 8 years, so that doesn't really make sense, does it? Wow, well spotted. Yeah.
So I mean, because what we was under the understanding was that
the boy is 8. This is 2020. So the original communication we got was saying that when the boy disclosed abuse, which would have meant he needed to be able to talk.
4, 5.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say 4. Let's say 4 and be generous. So that would have been, oh, well spotted, Andy. So 2012.
I mean, she would have had
that would have been 2016.
Yeah.
So this timeline doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But that doesn't. But that just means that that could be they split up in 2012. So that was when
they did. The guy did say to me that the marriage broke up before the disclosures of the child. But I had no idea. This is why I asked for a timeline, because if Anke was living in North Wales from 2012, which is pretty much
that would make sense. That would make sense because that would have been at the time that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was told that the contact that also emails you, he did say the marriage broke up way before the disclosures because Anke discovered that he was not at all the person she thought she had married.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like either pregnant or shortly after giving birth, Anke has given up on the marriage and gone to North Wales. And with North Wales, we also we know from previous emails that it's alleged that the father followed her.
Did they give her prison number? Have they given her prison
number?
No,
I haven't got that yet. I must ask for that. Yeah. I will shoot an email. We've got Wilfred Wong's one. Do you know that?
Yeah, Wilfred Wong, that's been put out.
Yeah. And then I got an email from Nilu saying that Anke Hill had been married previously and her husband died in the Iraq War. Did you get that?
I've not seen that. I probably have got it, but I've been...
There's an email from Nilu saying the information on their side is that she had been previously married and that it was her previous in-laws that were trying to help her escape and get the child to safety. So this is why timelines are so important. So if the child is 8, then moving to Wales happened either pregnant.
We're hoping to see that she moved to Wales somewhere around about the 2016 mark. The 2016 mark.
Well, it doesn't say that here. It says she moved to Wales in 2012.
Yeah, but that could be linked in because he might not have given a date.
No, this is an email I've translated. This is an email from the German family friend that says he's known her since they were both 6.
Yeah, but if I was to say that in Iwasi, that could also say that also split from Les in late 2012.
Also split from Les.
Well, so it could be.
Right, 2011 St Ives, 2011 also split from Les in late 2012. No, well, I can look that up in the German, but I'm thinking that's probably accurate. I know that my daughter left her partner when she was 4 months pregnant. He went away for 2 weeks and she said, help, and I moved her 4 months pregnant.
And unless we're lost in, we actually, yeah, we
It's
could
not
be
lost in
missing, we
translation.
could be missing something in translation of the
No,
fact that he moved
I
away
speak
from
German
them to
and
get as far away. Yeah, because we said that it was being said that she moved as far away as possible from him because of what he was doing to the child.
yeah.
So she moved away from
Oh,
him
I
first.
see what you're saying. Yeah,
But
yeah,
that could
yeah.
be that, you know, was it that she moved far away as possible from him before, you know, with you know,
It could
that,
be. It could
yeah,
be.
again, you know, need clarifying that, like, you know.
But the other thing that raises questions with that is one of the listed accused is Jane Going Hill. And I can only presume, and the German side have confirmed that they can only presume that Jane Going Hill is an ex-wife of the father's brother. I know this is complicated for people. I also was told that Jane Going Hill was currently a partner to Robert Frith, who was, you know, in my opinion, murdered in prison. You know, I don't believe a suicide by plastic bag. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of somebody killing themselves with a plastic bag?
No, it's a new one on me. I've heard of people killing themselves, but not in a prison.
But have you heard of people, like, because my understanding is, even though your mind might tell you, I want to die, but your body has a natural kickback where it says, I can't breathe. So, you know, I made a point on Facebook that people that die by hanging often have nail marks and hand marks on because they tried to change their mind.
Yeah.
So I just cannot, first of all, how would Robert Frith have a plastic bag in his cell in a 3-year-old prison that cost 153 million to build, you know, and is like supposed to be monitored and just like amazing, you know, it just sounds too suspicious to me. How did he have a plastic bag, and how did he manage not to get supervised from 5 p.m. on Friday night until being allegedly discovered at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, the 14th of November, and happened to have a plastic bag in his cell? And then how do you have a plastic bag and your body is saying, I can't breathe, and your mind overrules it and says, I want to die? I don't, not.
Well, the simple fact is, if you've got in, you know, let's face facts. If you've put yourself in a position of going to rescue a child, that's you're knowing you're going into some serious trouble, especially when you know what you're up against. So that's number one, right? And they all knew what they was up against. So why, when those people can stand together as one, because they know they've been righteous, they've gone with clean hands to do a righteous thing. No way would they kill themselves. They would want their day in court.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I do think that was likely a murder, and there is going to be an inquest. And it was reported with backup on Twitter that originally North Wales police said it was a death by hanging, but unsuspicious. And then the coroner says, no, it was death by plastic bag suffocation, which to me is just incredulous. Like, I can't. Anyway,
well,
but the point I wanted to make is that Jane Going Hill was one of the arrested. She is allegedly the ex-wife of the father's brother. They had, both Robert Frith and her, had addresses in Holyhead in North Wales, as did Anke. The mainstream media gave their addresses. So, and then.
Do we know anything about the other people who was with them?
Well, 2 of them are from Crawley in Sussex. And I think they possibly attend a church which Wilfred Wong is associated with called Jubilee. And I have some photos of that church and its location. And that church some people were saying, and I don't mind speculating on here because I think we've got a right to put all the theories out there and let the researchers research and let the truth come forward. Because Chancellor was saying, oh, you could be done for contempt of court and, oh, it's against this rule and that rule. But then 10 minutes later, Chancellor is saying, oh, so-and-so got no justice in the British courts and he got railroaded and it's so corrupt. So it's like, make your mind up. Are you going to trust the court system or are you going to anticipate that vast amounts of it are corrupt or inept?
This actually is a very valid point, and this wants. I mean, hopefully the godmother of the child, you know, and the son of the godmother that's been providing this information, speaking obviously with the father too of Anke Hill. Then this information now that I'm about to give you now should be very vital, that this is something that they need to know.
Okay.
Now then, what we exposed, or what should I say, what we, by meaning what Anthony Babalu has exposed a long time back, is the simple point that in a court, there are two sides to a court. There's an administrative side and there's a judicial side. And the judicial side that we found out is becoming the court and therefore bypassing the administrative side. And if there is no court through an administrative side of the court, there is never a court. There was never a court. So the case is never a genuine and a true case, and therefore there's nothing to answer to. And this is what they're doing. They're creating counterfeit court cases. Okay, so unless the court has had information laid in front of them for them to file and get a genuine court case number, and then then the court then must do is serve that to whoever it is that's being charged. So Anke and all those in this case must be served from the court, and that must come from the administrative side. Yeah, so they must have had a proper generated court case number that's filed and logged on the computer.
Yeah, I think Nilu has the court case number.
Is it a genuine court case number? This is the question. This is what I'm trying to say, because everybody else, and as I'm finding out now, when you send, because I mean, don't forget, I mean, that's a reference number. That's not necessarily a case number. Okay. And what they do, and this is how they do it. You see, this is same with what they did with Carol Woods. They generated a false warrant through a fake counterfeit court. To create a fake counterfeit warrant, for a section 135. Then they served that on the police, which then went and served it on to Carol. Then they kidnapped her with a fake warrant, took her into a hospital. Then the hospital very quickly generated a real section 2 that was logged into the computers. Now it's on a computer, now it's filed. But the thing is, they filed nothing because it was nothing to start with. So they made it real. So what happens in the courts, is they'll go through the magistrate a magistrate court, which should have therefore logged it, because that's the first point where it starts. Therefore, it goes onto the computer. But if it hasn't gone onto the computer, it hasn't been logged, it isn't a real court case. So what they do is they create a reference number that then goes to the Crown Court, that then logs it onto their computers. Now it's in the computer system, and it's now an official case, but the official case started from nothing.
It's called a wraparound. It's called a wraparound.
What I'm saying, there's nothing to answer to until the genuine first original case number comes out and that they've been served the papers from the court themselves. So if it's not been served, there's no court case. So what I'm trying to say here is like this: what Anke Hill needs to do
from prison
is request the court, what the information that was laid to the court, to the courts, for the courts, because what happens is the court gets laid the information, they go through it to make sure that it's all okay and above board, and then then it gets logged, yeah, and then it gets served to whoever it's being served to. This is how it should go down. And then they say, yes, hands up, it was me, and they're meant to how to, you know, offer a settlement for whatever it is, or they can say like, no, that's lies. But what must have been laid in front of that court would have been whoever's pressing the charges, or whoever's accusing the accused.
Yeah.
So they must have laid affidavit and statements, or they must have made them statements under the penalty of perjury on record, in, you know, under a statement, and signed for it, you know, to verify it. Then they would have had to compile all the witness statements and everything else for it then to be laid in front of a court, for that court case to be generated. Then the court case number would have been generated, and then they would have been served.
Yeah, I think Neela has court case number. But the disturbing thing, or another disturbing thing, is of the 6 arrested, and there's differing reports in the mainstream media. Some say 4 were arrested in the car and 2 were picked up somewhere else. And some said 3 men, 3 women. Some said 4 men, 2 women. Like, it's all a mess. But allegedly, 2 of them have pled guilty to attempted abduction or kidnap. Now, if you want to allow yourself to speculate and just report this as speculation, it could be that the mother and the sister-in-law, the aunt, may have been so frightened by being arrested at gunpoint on the M1 that they put their hands up and said, yes, we were trying to rescue my son. We believe he's in danger. You know, we were trying to do a good thing. But allegedly, 2 of the 6 have pled guilty. So it seems to me at the moment like, and the other alleged thing, and I'm saying, I'm framing it, we're just putting everything out there, and people like Sharon Gale saying, oh, nobody should speculate about the Wilfred 1 case. She made a video about that. So shut up already, you know. We're trying to get the truth out. And the mother's father has said, as I read in that email, I believe getting the truth out is the way forward. And the mother's father is the one that she's called from prison and said, please help my dad, please help daddy, you know. So outside of the UK, and based on what you're saying, Anthony Baddelow's information and Baron David Ward's information, who's going to do a show with me probably Tuesday, we don't have to buy into the mind control of, oh my goodness, I might be done for contempt of court. How terrible. And as for people saying you might prejudice Wilfred Wong's case, how much worse can his case get? How much worse can it get for the accused? One of them's already dead. One of them is already dead in what I would suggest is not a suicide. I do not believe that a 65-year-old retired psychiatric nurse put a carrier bag around him in the £153 million Sodexo-run, Serco-owned HMP Berwyn and just held it there till he suffocated. I don't believe that. I don't think
that anybody that's even believed that for a second, you know.
Well, everything's possible. I'm trying to keep an open mind. Yeah. At the moment,
there's a guy. We don't know do or something like that. Or we don't know, do we? Sorry, that's his on here. So he's saying that there's a prayer vigil on the 4th. I take it that will be outside the prison.
Yeah.
If you can put a bit more information, I'll give it a shout out here.
Yeah, and I've had Christians contact me, you know, in response to Russ Disdar and Tom Dunn, their broadcast, and Christians wanting to come together. And I'm a born-again Christian. I'm proud of that. But if the church has been infiltrated, then we need to allow for that. And one of the things that has gone down on my previous channel, the man in Germany that says he's been Anke's friend since they were both 6 and whose mother is the godmother, he sent me a link saying that the accused father attends a born-again Christian church in Anglesey. So we have to consider the possibility that the born-again church has been infiltrated, don't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about I mean, because if we're talking about the Christ returning, that comes with inside us all. Like, for those people that are standing, this is what it's all about. It's the light shining on these cockroaches that are doing what this is doing. So there's a prayer visual. Apparently, it's on 7 p.m. and I'm taking it. It's outside from what I'm reading here. It's on outside the prison for Wilfred and the co-accused. It's at 7 p.m. and it's on it is outside the prison.
On the 3rd. Is it the 3rd?
On the 4th. On the 4th.
4th of December. And the case is due to be heard on the 7th. And not heard. All that will happen on the 7th is that bail will be applied for by the remaining 5 accused. And pleas will be documented, as in, if it's true, 2 pled guilty and 3 remaining pled not guilty. But you know, and then they'll set a date, and it could be July 2021. And I don't think it's reasonable to leave those people on remand in prison where one of them has already died, like literally within a week of being arrested is dead from a very suspicious circumstance, in my opinion. I still
this person who, I don't know who it is, it's just we don't know now, do we?
No.
I mean, I'm not too sure who it is. I don't think we haven't got a name of them, but it's just said that it's being checked and that there is no proof of anyone involved with that church.
Well, I know we'll be being watched by our German person, although he reaches out to me for translation sometimes, but I'm sure he's well able to translate, and he's the family friend, and he's the one that said to me, the father is part of this church in Anglesey.
I think they might be misconstrued in here. They might be thinking that you're saying that Wilfred Wong is connected to that.
Wilfred
church.
Wong is allegedly, well, he's provably connected to the Jubilee Church in Brighton, but it's not proved that he attends there every Sunday. It's documented, and I've seen the documentation, that he's part of a group that works for the persecuted church or pro-life or both, which is connected to the church in Brighton. The church in Brighton is very concerning for the reason that there's a slime shop a few doors down from it, which is alleged to be connected to Ricky Dearman. Yeah. So I've said before, if Wilfred is a seasoned surveillance person of satanic ritual abuse, and he lives in Camden, and he's connected and associated with the church in Brighton, which he is, I've seen proof of that. I just haven't seen proof that he drives from Camden to Brighton every Sunday for church service. But I have seen documents that he is on paper associated with Jubilee Ministry, whatever it's called, based in Brighton. But so my question is, and please God, Wilfred will get bail and be able to answer these kind of questions. Living in Camden and being associated with the church in Brighton, the Hampstead cult was in Hampstead, allegedly, and Ricky Dearman has been documented as being in Brighton, and there's a slime shop 4 doors from the church. So how did that go under Wilfred's radar? How did he miss that? How did John Wedger miss that? How did any of these, SRA hunters, it was right under their noses. How could they miss that? So that's why
this guy says he's not actually in Camden, he's actually in Holborn.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all a stone's throw from Hampstead. It's close enough. The Hampstead information has been out for almost 6 years. It was August 2014 when the children disclosed, and it was
the one main important. The reason why I will reiterate this because if this is not a genuine court case, then there's never going to be any justice.
No, that's why that's why we're talking now.
Yeah. So I mean, the simple point is, you know, there's a process, you know, and if there's a process, we're going to get all the information, and so will Anke. Anke will have all the information, because they'll have to, all the information that's been laid in front of that court must be served on Anke. They must be given to her. That's a genuine court case for Anke to answer to what the questions are. I mean, the point is they're just going to go straight in with the straightforwardness, that the fact that it's been a kidnapping, but they're not going to put, then you're going to now have to argue it, mitigating circumstances. Now, if they're going to class it as a kidnapping, when that's a downright disgrace. When, how can you class something as a kidnapping when it's a real rescue mission? Yeah. That's them saying it's a kidnapping. So that's an accusation as a kidnapping. No, it wasn't a kidnapping. It was a rescue mission.
Well, who is it that's making the claim? And I do think that. I do think that. And Wales has history. There's still people saying, oh, SRAs it's rubbish. There's never been a case prosecuted. Nobody knows about it. It's all made up. Rubbish. Do your research and look up Kidwelly, and look up Bryn Estyn, Bryn Allen, Welsh Children's Homes, the supply line for paedophiles. Look up the Chief Inspector of Police, the Freemason Chief Inspector of Police in Wales that was outed. There's plenty of research to indicate big problems in Wales. Look up, you know, even Nathaniel Harris, self-avowed chaos magician, but he's a survivor, and he says on record, my parents were involved with the paedophile ring in Wales, that many of Hoaxted research were involved with the paedophile ring in Wales. Like, he's blowing the whistle. He's trying to say this is true and this is going on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean, that you need research. I mean, whoever this is saying this is dangerous misinformation. This is just
not misinformation.
It's not misinformation. It's information being put out. If you've got the research, bring it out. Bring it.
We haven't said anything as fact. What you brought forward in previous videos and what I brought forward is communications from somebody saying, I'm a childhood friend of Anke, I'm in touch with her father, and he's in favor of publicity. You know, so we're not saying, this is why I'm in trouble with some of my Christian friends and some of my, you know, truther friends. It's like, why aren't you tying your flag to a certain mast and saying, I believe, I believe? No, I'm still in the phase of bring forward the facts, bring forward the information, bring forward the communications, bring forward the things that people are afraid to say. Oh, don't mention it, don't mention it. Oh, contempt of court, you might prejudice court case. In terms of people saying you could make it worse for Wilfred Wong or Anke Hill or so on, I don't think it gets much worse than being imprisoned on allegations of kidnapping at knife point and one of your colleagues is already dead. I don't think it gets much worse. There's nothing left to lose.
Yeah. It's got the, it says 55 Pied Bull Court, Galen Palace is Wilfred's address. It's not Camden.
Well, that's details. It's
many times, Andy.
It's still close enough to Hampstead, and Hampstead, the alleged Hampstead, you know, 9 angles, what do you call it? There's Jacobean Frankist cult. Anyway, the cult in Hampstead, the alleged cult in Hampstead, has been out there since 2015. So if Wilfred and his colleagues are experts in that field, they could have put that cult under surveillance, because allegedly that cult is very careless around Christchurch Hampstead School. And recently I saw there's this Japanese guy, has a huge following on YouTube, and he does these walkarounds, and he did a walkaround in Hampstead. It was about an hour-long video, Sampo's Strolls or something. He showed every church in Hampstead and every street and alleyway except Christchurch. It was just unbelievable to me. I watched the whole thing. I think it took an hour, and it almost felt like a PR exercise. Can you please promote how quaint and twee and wealthy and amazing Hampstead is, but
Yeah.
don't go anywhere near Hampstead Christchurch. It was very bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so should I show the born again Christian church thing as a born again Christian? If it's true, as the German contact has said, that the father attends a born again Christian church in Anglesey, if it's true, as I also believe it's true, that the church in Brighton is a few doors away from a slime shop associated with Ricky Dearman, then the possibility of church implication, I would rather look at that now than, like a Catholic, admit it 20 years later with cognitive dissonance and say, oh my God, the Catholic Church I loved and trusted, abused, they paid out billions in compensation for raping children. So this is a chance for people to say, this case is live now. Let's get to the bottom of it.
To this born again, and the father is connected to this born again church. As in
the father is connected to a born again church, according to our source in Germany. Yeah. And I'm going to say it, Oasis, born again Christian church, Anglesey. Yeah. And sorry, guys, but that's public information. That's public domain information. They're on Facebook. So please contact myself or Andy and make a statement. If that person, if the father's not a member of your church, or if you'd like to come forward and say, we absolutely abhor child abuse and we absolutely support the truth coming out, just get in touch. And that's the key, transparency.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, mate.
Do you want me to show you? I've got pictures. The church.
Yeah, let's put them there. Let's put them out there.
Well, I don't. Do you want to put pictures of the father and mother, or is that a bridge too far?
No, I mean the father's name's out there. I mean they know it's all out there, so why not? I mean, is
all right? Let's go for
it. Is he still on LinkedIn?
Yeah, but somebody's found different pictures.
There's pictures out there. I mean, they're out there already, so
Okay, all right. So then let's go to Facebook. Let's go to Facebook, and I will give a shout out to Nikki Cooper, because
so let me just explain to this. We don't know. We don't know. Do
yeah,
we?
we're not saying.
So the source that you're saying, like, I think you're getting cross lines here. What we're saying here is now that the source in Germany is saying the father of the child, the father of the child that these Wilfred and Anke and all this stuff was going to rescue. They're saying that he, the father, was a member of this born again church.
Is a
member of this.
Yeah, because according to our German source, very soon after Anke got married to this person, Les Hill, she discovered he was not who she thought he was, and the marriage collapsed. Now, the thing that is confusing is I was told she moved to North Wales after the child disclosed, and that doesn't line up with the timeline. That does not line up with the timeline. So there are questions there. This is Jubilee Christian Centre. Now, this is concerning, right? It's in the middle of nowhere. Fair play to Nikki Cooper and her team. The church associated with Wilfred Wong and the pro-life organisation and the persecuted church organisation and the fundraising and the government lobbying is in the middle of nowhere. Look at that. Right, so I'm going to go on. Yeah, here's more pictures. Sean Atwood grew up in the Jehovah's Witnesses. There's a child gone missing close to here. This is the Tesco petrol station where the boy was rescued or abducted from. This is the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses where a child went missing, which might be two unrelated issues. The Royal Rabbit Hole, MK Ultra Mind Control, Disney, sorry about that, it's in my name. But I'm trying to find, this. Now, Centre for Bioethical Reform, that's something, that was a false lead. And this is where we have to acknowledge that sometimes we get it wrong. Wilfred Wong is associated with this, which is a pro-life group, and somebody called Catherine Atwood was also on the board of directors. So I think Nikki's team thought that was Karen Atwood, who is Sean Atwood's sister, but it turned out not to be. So kids in containers. Yeah, that happens. That is real. Meet Wilfred Wong. And I was looking for the... Here it is, right? This is the article published in the public domain. This is the mother, who's a vet. And this is the father.
Yeah, I think this guy's a troll. I think this guy's a troll. He's now saying that the father or Wilfred Wong isn't connected to any churches.
Well, you know,
how does he know that the father is not connected to a church? I'm asking you now, yeah?
Yeah.
How many times do I have to post this? How do you know that the father isn't when we've been told that he is? How do you know that he's not?
Yeah.
Where are you getting your information from? And
Yeah.
you're also saying the people in Germany are liars. So come on, come out with your question. How can you say this? I mean, otherwise I'm just blocking you because I think you're a troll now.
Yeah, could be. Now this guy, and if you're innocent, you know, that's fine. But this guy is alleged by the child to have abused his son and allowed other people to abuse his son. This guy is a paramedic. He's got a lot of qualifications to do with the ocean and what have you, and he wanted to go work on oil rigs. And currently, according to LinkedIn, is working as a PIP disability assessor. So one of these people that can tell someone with cancer that they should go and get a job. Anyway, look, I won't go there, but this is public information. Sorry. The mainstream media listed Anke Hill and Jane Going Hill. They just left out that that was the mother and aunt. So this is public information. This is Les Hill. And this is from our German source. And as Baron David Ward will point out, and as you've said about Anthony Baddeloo, you know, if the mainstream media can report this as a knife point abduction that possibly resulted in somebody being murdered in prison, then we have a right to I would never put the child's face up, but this is the father. And that's on Nikki Cooper's page. And I'm not going to be shamed into silence because I don't have a huge amount of confidence in the British judiciary system. So yeah, that's it. I recommend people go and check out Nikki Cooper on Facebook. And we're only putting forward, we're not, like, I don't know about you, I want to believe the best. It looks to me very much like it was a rescue, not an abduction, but I could be wrong. What do you think, Andy?
Well, I think what I always thought as soon as I saw it, it smacked it. First impressions, you know, the first impressions always counted. So you know, there's no two ways about it. In me, I can't find anything other than the fact that you know, that was
like a rescue. It looks like a rescue.
And like I've always said, you know, this is what my first instincts told me. Yeah. Is that Wilfred lay his trust in people
that might not be trustworthy. Yeah, I think he was set up because it was definitely said from North Wales Police something about thanks to the excellent intelligence or something like that. So it definitely sounded like they didn't just mount an armed police chase on the M1. They had advance information that there was going to be an attempted rescue, I believe. That's what I believe. I can't prove it, but that's what's out there.
Yeah.
And you and I both said...
That was my belief. That's why I said what I said, you know.
Yeah.
You know? And like I say, I mean, for the fact that he was caught, you know, obviously inside. And I said, like, I mean, Wilfred's bound to be, you know, intelligent enough that he would have known full well he'd be under observations from these people. So, you know, they would be listening. So he wouldn't have been so silly to have allowed those information, you know, he wouldn't have been talking freely on phones and whatever, surely. So I mean, but he could have been that naive that, you know, his devices were listened to, and the communication that was between the mother and him for the to arrange the rescue was already foiled by their own
Could be by
naivety.
intelligence services, or it could be that somebody he thought was a team member was not. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's either, I mean, to me, that's the two choices. That's the only two choices that I can see.
Yeah.
That Wilfred either set himself up by well, not set himself up, by cocked it up by talking about the mission openly on devices that could have been tapped, or the people that he trusted weren't trustable. You know what I mean?
And the only other option, which I think is the least likely, but we still have to consider it, is that he was part of it. I don't get that. It doesn't seem that way to me.
No, I can't see that.
No,
I mean, that's what this guy, I mean, whoever he is, he probably is I mean, I don't know who he is, like, but he seems to think we're trying to down and make
right.
bad.
But it brings us back to that thing of any survivors who've been helped by Wilfred Wong, who can bring forth evidence of having been rescued by him. Please come forward, please.
That's another major thing. Yeah, I mean, that's other things. It's like everything else, isn't it? You know, I run Wilfred's emails now for him. Contact me.
Is that Jeanette Archer?
I don't know who it is, but I mean, whoever it is, I mean, it's a genuine guy. Listen, mate, I mean, he's got Wilfred Wong's email. So if this is Wilfred Wong's email, he's saying he's running Wilfred Wong's email. So we'll lay some, we'll get some information.
We need to make ourselves accessible.
Yeah.
But at the same
time,
you
know my email. Send me an email and make sure that it comes from Wilfred Wong's email. And if that's what you're saying, because I've already got an email from Wilfred Wong.
So have I.
Okay. So if you're saying that you've got control of Wilfred Wong's email, then we'll know whether
we'll be able to cross-check. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So my email's divinebar@hotmail.com. DEVINEBAR. I'll type it in for you. Send me an email. And by the way, we're not. Don't go thinking, and don't stop making your accusations either. You know, we're here just talking. And that conversation, by the way, whether you like it or not, it means it gets out there, because everybody's asking these questions. Don't listen. Truth fears no inspection.
Amen.
Period.
Amen.
And if there's nothing to hide, then there's nothing to worry about it.
Yep, exactly.
Contact me. No, you contact me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And as
why am I sending an email to Wilfred Wong? If you've got his contact, you send it to me.
Yeah, because we have it. We have it. And that was how Sean Atwood got tripped up. Sean Atwood said he sent the Daddygate video to Andrew Gine, but all Andrew Gine said was confirm the email you used to send it to me, and Sean Atwood couldn't confirm it. So we have Wilfred Wong's email address. So that person saying I'm in control of Wilfred's email now, then we just cross-check. That's only our due diligence.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, if you're genuine, come up like. If you're telling me you're giving some information, and you're saying like you're not going to identify yourself because you don't want to be dead. Well, listen, mate. If you're not brave enough to put your face out there or your name out there to name who you are, that's fair enough. I'm not expecting you to. But if you've got in some information, that you're saying that the father is not a member of the church, and that the German people that are telling us are liars, bring forth your evidence. Remember that. Yeah. He who makes the claim is a duty bound now to provide the material evidence to substantiate that claim. So make that claim substantiated, my brother. You know, don't you make those claims, because we're not making claims. We're not making accusations. We're just talking. We're just talking.
And I have to say, with the German contact, which originally was emailing you and now emails both of us, I have been almost rude in saying, tell me this, give me a timeline, tell me the other, what's that mean? I've fired questions and they have been unflinching in responding with transparency, apparent transparency. You know, we don't know, but I would say that if the mainstream media can put a narrative up about a knife point abduction, which ends up with somebody dead in prison, I would say alternative media can put a different narrative up and say, look, this is what's coming our way. What do you think?
I'll say this. How can you be in contempt of court when there's not even a court case?
Exactly, which is what Barrett Ward is going to stop.
I don't believe there is going to be a genuine court case.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there is going to be information laid in front of a judge, in front of a court, for them to generate a genuine court case number, and then them papers being served on the people, i.e. Wilfred Wong, Anke Hill, and so on and so forth. I don't believe there will be a genuine court case, because they need to make it a counterfeit court case, because when it comes to even bringing into a jury, when there is a counterfeit court case, they are going to bring in a counterfeit jury.
Yeah.
Who the hell runs these things? What I'm saying is this. Pardon?
Let me just tell you about counterfeit juries, right? Because the common law movement is always like, oh, a jury of your peers, a jury of your peers. Cambridge Analytica, who Facebook told me hacked my Facebook and, accessed millions of people's data through Facebook, unlawfully, for which nobody was compromised. But Cambridge Analytica have got it down pat how to identify favourable juries by logging with AI what people like, what their political views are, how they vote, where they live, what their persuasions are. They can hand select what looks like a random jury, and they can put 30 jury members forward that would all find Wilfred Wong guilty. And then you think you've got a choice when you select 12 of them. And you don't realise that Cambridge Analytica or companies like them have pre-selected people that might be Freemasons, that might be, whatever, but that would vote the way you want them to vote. This is a crazy time we're living in, Andy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy.
This is what I mean. This is why it's so serious, the point, and I'll keep hammering it home, the point about the court case.
Yeah.
If it's not a genuine court case, how would you ever seek justice in a counterfeit case?
Yeah.
So if this case is going to be done, and Wilfred and Anke and these people are going to get justice, it has to be a genuine court case.
Yeah.
And Anke and Wilfred have got to hold them to a court. I mean, Wilfred was a barrister, was he not? He
very briefly, I think he only worked for about 3 years.
But he knows the law.
He knows the law inside out.
If he's been in a position to be in that position, he knows he'll have that mindset to know exactly what to ask for. And he knows that before this, there are steps. Before B, C, D, or E, there always has to be an A. And in the beginning process of any court case, the information has to be laid to the court for the court to go through it before they create a file, before they create a case number. And then when it's been created and generated and accepted, then it has to be served to the people, i.e. to Anke and Wilfred and all them. They have to be served from the court, and it's a genuine case filed, because otherwise there's nobody else. No, they're out of their jurisdiction of the bonding, because it's not even in their jurisdiction. They're all bonded to be insured in the positions of their jobs. Now the court, like I've said, the court is 2 jurisdictions. It's the judicial side and the judicial and the administrative side. And the administrative side has to file, otherwise it's not a genuine court case. And the judicial side, i.e. the CPS, the Freemasons that are within this side of this court, they're running a court as though it's a genuine court when it's not even a real court. And they're making case numbers, and they're going to keep falsifying these things when it was nothing. There was nothing to ever answer to. And because they're filing these papers and people are reading all this information and they're feeling that they've got to answer to it, they don't speak, because until they've been served from the court, there was nothing to answer to. So what I'm saying is they need to they're meant to be into a court now. They must have been brought to a first court, I take it, because they would have taken.
Yeah, they were. Two pled guilty, 4 pled not guilty, and they were all remanded with no bail.
So that court case, which is always be a magistrate's, so the first court, because this is what they've done, and this is what I'm finding in other else now too, because what they'll do, the magistrate's court will now say, oh, it's gone to the court. It's gone to the Crown Court now. You have to go to them for the information. Now, remember what I was telling you about Carol Woods is the warrant. This is how they lose it, because they will now graft on top a legitimate case. So the Crown Court will now lodge it. But what they've lodged is a counterfeit case. Because it wasn't a genuine case in the beginning.
And the secrecy, the gagging, Sir Bernard Mumby, or I don't remember his full name, but he's Sir something Mumby. He used to be head of the family courts in the UK. And even he has said, it's not working, it needs reform. It's, you know, and the mind control that I'm trying to unravel, both with yourself and with Baron David Ward in the coming week, is that people get afraid and they think, oh, that'd be contempt of court. Oh, you could go to jail for that. Oh, you're not allowed to discuss it. Well, the child abuse claims, including in the Catholic Church, which has spent billions compensating people and keeping it secret, in Ireland, they seal the records for 75 years. In some countries, they seal the records for 100 years. So this secrecy has, if anything, we're trying to say tonight, stop with the secrecy. You're not protecting the child. We have not named the child. We have not named the child. The secrecy is not protecting the child. It's protecting the prisons that have somebody die of a plastic bag suffocation, the prisons that allowed that to happen, the prisons that cost 153 million to build and already have a governor suspended. HMP Berwyn has already in 3 years had its governor suspended. And for those that are asking where Anke and Jane and the other lady from Crawley, who I believe is a member of the Jubilee Church in Brighton, they're likely in HMP style, STYALL. Melanie Shaw spoke out about HMP style. It's also run by Sodexo and likely owned by Serco.
Well, this is who's doing these things. That's what I'm trying to say. Who was it? Where was it? Was it in the papers that the two of them had pleaded guilty? Was it in the? It was in the papers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Do you know which paper it was? It was put in there.
No, I haven't saved all the links, but people can, you know, people can do their research. All we're putting forward is freedom of speech. If the mainstream media can put forward a narrative, so can the alternative media. And we're not judging, we're not saying who's guilty, who's innocent, but we are being transparent. Is that fair enough? Is there anything else we've missed? Anke Hill, Jane Goings Hill, who was allegedly the partner of Robert Frith, which I suspect is why he was murdered. The timeline, we've got some questions. You know, it has Anke moving to Anglesey around the time of the little boy's birth. So that raises questions. We've got the born again Christian church connections to be looked into. And I have to say, there is still the possibility that even John Wedger is truly trying to do the right thing and just making a fucking pig's ear of it and doing, like, messing up. But he might be genuine. Wilfred Wong might be the biggest hero of our century. And this might be the most genuine case since Hampstead. So all possibilities are on the table. We're just being transparent and asking for information. So divinebar at hotmail.com. Andy?
Divinebar, yeah, DEVINEBAR at hotmail.com.
And my email is still working, even though my YouTube channel got crashed. So angelapowerdisney@gmail.com. And like, we're nobody special. We're just, I'm in Ireland, Andy's in Greece. We've learned a bit about the law, and we have a heart for the truth and for protecting children. And so if you have anything that will forward that, please contact us.
they pleaded this, see, because they've not been sentenced yet. That's why. I mean, this
Of course,
person.
they will put it off for a year.
It's a troll. It is a troll, mate.
Okay, go ahead.
It's worked wonders. It's very, very good, like, but it's definite troll because of the stuff that he's coming out with, like. So he's just been there all the way through.
See, here's the way they deal with it. When it's the court case on the 7th, the only news will be, did they get bail? The court case won't happen till next year.
Exactly.
So we're supposed to, and that's the way the courts tie you up, because they say you're not allowed to discuss the case, and then they make the case last 2 years. Do you know, I will finish here, but I know a survivor, and they took his testimony, including a VIP rapist of him as in childhood, but they ran it over 2 years, and then they said to him, we believe you, but you've run out of time.
Yeah.
You know,
this is the vital thing about that. This is the thing about the courts. I mean, basically they'll just run you until you break down, or until you run out of money. Basically, that's all they're there to do. They're just fleecing agencies. All the courts are just fleecing agencies. And like I say, the important side here is, you know, because at the end of the day, let's put it this way, I'm putting myself in now, any of those people's shoes that have been to do that rescue, I want my day in court.
Yeah.
Because my evidence,
even if the jury is pre-selected, the evidence is...
No. I'm on about in a court, not in a counterfeit court.
Okay.
No, I'm talking, I'm going to make sure it's run completely legitimate, on a court of record with a jury of 12 of my peers that will be fucking investigating. I mean, I'll question my jury of peers anyway. But the point is here, I will make sure that the court is all proper. And I don't believe for a start off, that any, I don't think, I'll be damned. I want to see one. I want to see a legitimate case that's been done properly, especially when it comes down to these ones. Because I'm telling you now, John Patterson, I'm telling you now, I'll put my name on the line on this. That John Patterson was kidnapped under a counterfeit court,
I believe,
run by the Freemasonic scum that he was exposing, i.e. Ricky Dearman, Steve Martin, Katie Bourne, Gilly Jones, right? These people, use their pull within the CPS of a court and the judicial side of a court to create a fake court system, to create a fake court number up, to pull John in. And that's why they've shifted it from magistrates to a Crown Court, to draft it onto a Crown Court to create a legitimate case, when there is never, it has to start from somewhere. It had to start from somewhere. That beginning where it started, that information had to be laid. John has never seen an affidavit or statement, an affidavit made under the penalty of perjury, or a statement made under record, in a police station where they write it all down, or any other witness statement, anything. John's never been served anything from the court.
Terrible.
It's
and
all been done by the CPS.
Holborn Police Station, which I protested outside of when they held Sabine for a bank holiday weekend. I sat outside. Rupert Quaintance was there filming. Neelu Berry was there. Dave Eaton was there filming. Belinda Mackenzie was there saying, don't mention Hampstead, blah, blah, blah. But Holborn Police Station, who allegedly arrested John Patterson, deny all knowledge of it. It's like, no, we don't know anything about that. We didn't arrest him. Well, who the F did? The shadow police.
Correct.
And the shadow.
That's what I'm trying to say. And when you look at the operation, what was it? I forget the two ones that were leaked out there, which exposed all the Freemasons within the system that was doing all these things. And in that program, they even made a BBC Panorama program on it, and it was showing that the police were giving out their document to these criminals, this criminal network organization that the Freemasons use to do what they do, to get rid of the dirties. They've got, I mean, like I said, they wanted me to work for them, remember, years ago. So listen, what they do, is they've got people out there that will do things, and those people will get the identifications, the badge, all this lot from the police, and they will go and imitate themselves as police and do these things. So like I said, like you're just saying then, Angela, who was it that arrested John Patterson outside the Ministry of Defence on the 5th of November, when there was no record of his arrest? All they have got is the fact that John was put into a mental health, because he was taken, first of all, put into the Holborn police station, held there.
Which they
tried
deny.
to
They
disappear
deny
him.
that. They deny that now.
Yeah, they've totally denied it. Yeah, because we was phoning all around.
Yeah.
They have no record. There was no record of John's arrest.
Of course, there's no.
The only record of John's arrest was when they kidnapped him outside the Eastbourne Mental Health Unit when he was released. Again, I mean, that was because that was the second time they'd taken him there. They took him again when they kidnapped him outside the Royal Courts of Justice when he was serving his appeal against
they wouldn't let him put paperwork.
The Attorney General.
Yeah.
You know, so then they captured him, kept him in the cell overnight, and run him through a fake court. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. This is when it went through the Magistrates Court in the Westminster Magistrate Court, and Westminster Magistrate Court has got no court number. They've got nothing been filed in front of them to serve John.
Wow.
See, and then they moved it from there to Chelmsford Court, Chelmsford Crown Court, and now they've probably got a number now. But I'm not interested in that number.
Yeah, where's the
Where
primary?
did it start?
Where's the primary?
Where is the information that's been served on John? Because John if John's not been served nothing, John's got nothing to answer to. And that's what I'm stating there is exactly the same with Wilfred Wong, with Anke Hill, exactly the same. All of these people, if it's not genuine, you're in a horrible mess here, because you're never going to seek justice because they're running the show. It's their little fake counterfeit court show, guys.
It's the same.
You're never going to get
with
justice.
The Trafalgar Square protests, you know, with the pandemic and all of that, they filmed police and so on, but citizen journalists caught them like disrobing from their police uniforms, or somebody that's supposed to have been murdered sitting back up and debriefing afterwards. Like, it's not conspiracy theory. There is a whole theatre of imitation police, imitation solicitors, imitation courts. It's just crazy. But look, people, I think one way forward is for normal people to just speak out. And that's what we're trying to do. So I think we should leave it there, Andy. But Andy Devine can be contacted, divinebar@hotmail.com. I can be contacted, angelapower.disney@gmail.com. But what people should look for is that people like Nikki Cooper, Barbara O'Hare, different people doing amazing research. And this parallels a lot with the Hampstead case. I think it's connected in one way or another. And there are Christians, there are people in America, there are ex-police, government agency people, anybody with a pure heart, please do something. And
facts are what's needed at the end of the day. Yeah. And we're putting things out there for people to bring facts out, because we want people to challenge. I mean, obviously, that whoever that was on earlier, it was a very clever little. You know what I mean? These
they're clever.
They're very clever. So never underestimate them. And if that isn't
I'm being trolled, having lost my YouTube channel, but I'm being trolled as badly, or if not worse, than I was when the Hampstead case first broke. So I do suspect this is a genuine SRA case, to be honest. That's what I think.
Well, it smacked me for that from the start, from the beginning. Like I say, first impression, when you go with your first instincts are always there.
Yeah, you and I both put out, this looks like a foiled rescue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And for sure, I mean, and like you say, I mean, even though I'm open-minded, because remember, let's not forget, Gordon Bowden had me over.
Yes.
I had every faith in the world with Gordon Bowden.
Yes.
Okay?
Brian,
so I don't care who it is. I don't trust anybody. Period.
I know.
And I don't ever ask anybody to trust me. Period. Yeah.
Just go and look.
You only trust the facts. Only the facts tell the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on my opinion, if you want my opinion, Wilfred is genuine.
I think he might be.
This case is genuine. It was a genuine rescue.
Yeah.
And there is a hell of a lot more to meet.
There's a genuine
the stuff that's coming across, it's being lost in translation. Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of that. We need
I'm good at German. I've translated well. I will email back and say, I will ask the questions that have been raised tonight about moving to Anglesey in 2012 and the sister-in-law already having an address in Anglesey, Robert Frith already having in Holyhead, Robert Frith already having an address in Holyhead, and what point did the father Les Hill follow the mother to Anglesey? So yeah, questions to be answered. I want to end with something John Patterson used to quote all the time, which is a scripture: "Let that which is hidden be revealed, and let that which is in darkness be brought to light."
And Ephesians 5:11,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the no, I say that's what he used to always say.
Yeah.
Like,
Something about expose evil, expose evil. That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And save children. All right, I've got to go. I haven't had any dinner.
That's all we can do. And like I say, the only reason this is why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, and there's no point in having an argument over a debate of things. If we can't talk, truth fears no existence.
Yeah, exactly.
People say all sorts. You can say what you ever want about me. I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to say that that's going to make you look bad, no, it ain't, because it's going to solidify the case even more.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if there is nothing in it, then it's going to show the fact that
if we're wrong,
get rid of all the doubts, get the doubts out of the way, and then we can focus purely on the mission.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't feel any doubts in me. Like I say, to me,
I've got an open mind and I've got questions.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned a bit about Gordon, like, because at the end of the day,
because we can be fooled. We can be fooled. Yeah,
exactly.
All right, I'm going to go and have
keep them in your hearts and keep the prayers going.
Please pray. Please pray.
Never underestimate the power of prayer.
Yeah, amen. All right, love you, Andy.
God bless.
God bless.
Take care, Angie. Bye-bye.